everybody. Welcome to another episode of Love Encompassed podcast with Phil and Victoria. We are really excited today. I feel like we say that almost every time.
We say it every time because we're really excited.
We are. I've been enjoying these podcasts with you.
Yes.
And even the one that I did with my sister, I was like,
Yeah, it was a good one. We got a lot of great feedback from that.
Anywho, go ahead, boo, and drop on them why we are excited today.
Because we are celebrating 19 years of marriage. Now we have to change the info page.
Oh, we do.
Yeah.
Because on
18 plus? No, 19 plus.
Okay. Because we come this far.
We're almost out of our teen years.
We are. We're super excited that we're celebrating our 19th wedding anniversary. And so we thought we would just kind of use this episode to, talk about what it's been like for the past 19 years and our joys and highs, lows. Even though I don't really feel like we've had lows.
I don't think we really had lows. Maybe the kids being born so quick.
That's awful.
Is that considered a low?
No.
It was a high point. They're wonderful, but
now
they came fast.
The stuff that I had to go through to get them here was a little bit of a low.
I didn't have to do anything, but they came fast, though.
Yeah.
We hadn't been married very long before we found out you were pregnant with Brandon, so.
Yeah.
That was not a low.
We found out 8 months in, and the Lord said, "Oh, new beginnings. Boom, here you go, baby."
Baby.
But I wouldn't classify any lows. I would probably say maybe the beginning part, maybe like that first year was me working through my childhood trauma issues.
Well,
but I wouldn't consider it a low.
Yeah, I think the first year, though, is like you're like learning each other anyway.
Yeah, but still, I wouldn't consider it low. Like, I consider lows like, ooh, child, did I make the right decision? You know what I mean?
No,
I consider like those lows and, of course, other crazier things. I think, I would probably consider like, challenges, maybe like life challenges.
Yeah.
But nothing that I would feel like it was low.
Like kids early.
Yeah.
That's a life challenge.
Because listen, let me tell y'all. So when I was living at home, I didn't have much freedom at all. And so when I met Phil, and we were friends for a while, and then we started dating, and then we was like, okay, we're going to get married. I was like, bet, I'm moving out. I'm going to get married to the man of my dreams, my best friend. We about to do this. We about to travel the world. Bye. And then it was like, surprise, surprise.
Well, yep, we traveled the world. We lived in Belleville, and we went to church in Fenton. We traveled the world.
I'm talking about in the first 8 months, I went from like, yeah, we're going to travel. We're going to do this and do that. And it was like, surprise. Not to say we couldn't.
That's what I'm saying. We have plans to travel the world, and instead we traveled from Illinois to Missouri.
Yeah.
That was our traveling the world. We didn't even go on a honeymoon when we got married.
I know. We had to wait, 5 years?
7. We waited 7 years.
7 years.
And then we went on a honeymoon.
Yeah.
Because we had kids so fast.
Yeah.
Not that that's rough.
No.
Not that I feel it.
No. It just, we were like, no, I mean.
Now, the flip side is now they're older and they'll be gone and we're still super young. So who won?
Okay.
We did.
Because honestly, if I could do it over again, I think I would have. I don't know if I'd have done like 8 months after. While we were married. I don't know if I'd have done it 8 months after our wedding date. I definitely would have wanted to have waited a couple years.
Yeah.
But with that being said, now I look at it and I'm like, okay, well, by the time, Brandon's about to graduate, I'll be 40. And then by the time Preston graduates, I'll be 42. So that's still young, y'all. That's still young. How old you going to be, boo? Go ahead and tell them.
Well, and this is why this episode is so important.
Oh, my God.
What a challenge those kids are.
So, what are some takeaways for you? Like, what are you like, man, these are the moments, like my favorite story, moment, or whatever, being together for 19.
Let's see. I don't know if there's been we've had a lot of great memories. I'm sure there's a lot of great things that have happened. I think just the challenges of life, learning people,
That's fun.
Learning each other.
That was
Yeah, I mean that was
That
a
part,
challenge. That was a challenge, just trying to learn each other or whatever. But
Okay.
I don't think there was like
Why do you consider that a challenge of getting to know each other?
because I think you're trying to learn another human, and you're naturally a selfish person like I am.
Speak for
Not
yourself.
You, yeah. But you naturally care more about yourself, and then you got to like change all that. You know what I'm saying?
But
like
is
you got to
that?
think about.
But is that it being challenging getting to know another person, or is it being challenging putting someone before you?
I think it's putting someone before you and getting to know. I mean, you can not get to know somebody too. You could just be like, you know what?
But I wouldn't consider that a challenge. I think for me, it's more of like, especially if I really love somebody, I want to get to know.
Yeah, but that's
you to
because
where-
you like, if there's any opening up of me and the boys, you're like, do tell what's going
But
on.
no, I feel
what
like-
emotional to speak to me. What's going
No,
on?
I feel like that is me across the board. If like, nah, I'm not gonna hold it. You know what I mean? Like, if I'm not the quickest person like making new friends because I'm very much so like I value friendship and the meaning of friendship and what that means so much that I don't take lightly just like, oh, you know what I mean? I'm just gonna whatever make a friend real quick. Like, so it takes me a while to develop friendships with people. But with that being said, once that development process starts and it seems like, okay, this is really going in a positive direction, I enjoy learning about that person because I'm like, oh man, because I think I just genuinely like want to make sure that I see it as I want to make sure that I'm being, the best supportive friend that I could be and person that I can be to this person. And the only way that I know that is, okay, well, what bothers them? What do they think about? What are their favorite things? Because I want them to feel love and appreciated it. So for me, getting to know someone isn't a challenge. Now, if they're challenging, it's like, okay, maybe this ain't it for us.
Yeah. Maybe it's because I'm a guy. So like if you ask a guy what's wrong and they're like, nothing, I'm fine.
Yeah.
If I ask you what's wrong, you're like, this is a lot.
Which is so funny off the
There's
subject.
a lot that comes with that question.
So funny off the subject. It was the other day, and the boys. We have those that don't know. We have a 17-year-old and a 15-year-old, and they're very much so teenage boys. Amazing though, amazing. And so they were like kind of walking around the kitchen and stuff. And Brandon was getting ready to leave, and I said, "Hey, are you guys happy in life?" And the faces they gave me was like, why are you asking us this question? And so I was like, I just genuinely want to know. And they were like,
they're 17 and 15.
and they were like, yeah, we're happy. All right, I'm going to go.
Yeah. She's like, I didn't get the response. I thought it would be more. I'm like, they're 17 and 15.
I wasn't worried about the response. I get it. Listen, I feel like if it was
They
like
don't
early,
care.
I feel like if it was earlier on, I'd have been like, oh, but now that they are, now that we are seasoned in this teenagerism's age or whatever, I don't get bothered when they don't respond the way I want them to because they're boys.
Yeah.
Actually, they're young men. They're young men, and it's like I find it interesting that even like a young age, I see how like the best way I can describe it is like how quote unquote men are. It's honestly, it starts at a young age and then they just develop into it. So I'm just like, once I got that, I'm like, okay, I know how to handle this.
Yeah, they're pretty normal. As long as you just feed them, hug them every once in a while, they're fine.
I think my favorite part is these past 19 years is that we have been consistent as far as like making sure we are still friends and good friends and best friends and talking about everything, and we can still laugh at night, and we still look forward to seeing each other when we've been gone a while, and we hate leaving each other for days. So I find that as a huge blessing.
Yeah, I think we get along great, and I think we've said it on the podcast before, but we do a good job of, we tell the boys a lot, like, hey, before there were 4 of us, there was 2 of us. So the 2 of us always have to remain strong in order for the 4 of us. So we enjoy just being around each other. I think we've always just been friends, so it's just been easy to be like,
Because we genuinely like each other as people.
yeah.
I mean, I am pretty dope.
Right.
I'll just say it.
And she's hot. So that helps too. So it's like,
you kind of forgo a lot of stuff.
yeah, it's like, she's hot.
But so okay, people listening, guys, you made it to 19 years. You're still happy. You still miss each other. You know,
They're probably like throw up in my mouth.
but you have navigated the ebb and flows of being together for 19 years. For that person that would sit down and ask us, like, what advice would you give? Because I feel like we're kind of getting to that years of marriage where people now will start asking us, okay, what's the secret? What's the sauce that keeps the mojo going for us to still be, you know?
I think we communicate very well with each other.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just with other. I think we communicate very well. We communicate with other people fine. Communication is what I do, like naturally anyway, but it's like.
And I'm a talker.
And you're a talker. But I think the way we communicate with each other, and I think patience. I think a lot of people just don't have patience where you're like, oh, people think that someone is supposed to be perfect. And then when they don't do something and it like messes up the perfect thought, then all of a sudden they're like, oh my gosh. But it's like, dude, nobody's perfect. So it's like everybody has bad days, bad moments. So
I would say I would say we have a mutual respect for each other and we have a mutual respect for our feelings.
Yes.
Like for
and
the other
you're
person's
hot,
feelings.
so that helps.
I could be hot. I mean, I am. Humbly. I say that humbly. But, you know, you got to be confident. You know what I'm saying? Right? But if I was super attractive but crazy, come on now. You know doggone good and well, you'd be like.
So you're saying that that's not the case.
Wow.
That's what we're agreeing on is that you're not. Okay. I just want to make sure.
Wow.
That's 19.
Anyways, I think because we have a mutual respect for each other and each other's feelings, like when we do bring things up and everything like that, like because we respect each other and we really care about the other person, that our heart intent is to really make sure that each other is being heard. And we really do work on that thing because, you know, the respect that we have for each other and the love that we have for each other.
Yeah, 100%. I think that's a main thing. I mean, it is. We respect the mess out of each other. And our kids respect us.
Yeah.
As well as each other because I think we've just modeled it. But I think we just always get along real good.
Yeah.
So we both like to laugh. We both like to have fun. Yeah. So it kind of makes it easy.
Learn that you don't like to be called annoying.
Yeah. That's never a good thing. Never call
I'm not saying.
Never call your husband
in those moments. Now, I won't do it anymore because he expressed that he didn't like that. But I wasn't saying like you're annoying as a person. I think we all have moments where you're like, ooh, sigh. Don't you need to go and like walk the basement?
Walk the basement.
Take a lap.
Now, if you say that to me, I'm going to be like, you're finding me annoying.
No, but I'm pretty sure you have been like, oh my gosh, go.
Yeah. I'm usually like, is there a show you want to watch on your own? By yourself? Need a minute?
Yeah. But I also think it is important to have your own personal thing to do to, you know, appreciate the person and missing them. Like,
oh, yeah,
like
for sure.
Not be with them every single waking moment.
Well, I don't like it when couples lose themselves. Like if I'm into sports, right? And so it's like I'm into basketball, all the sports that you watch on TV. I don't like when couples lose themselves and then like they stop doing the things that they love doing because maybe their spouse doesn't enjoy them as much as they do. So they're like, well, I just don't do that anymore because, you know, I'm like, yeah, I don't like when people do that. Don't lose who you are because who you are is what made the person fall in love with you anyway.
Well, not just that, but it's also because like you like still need to do the things that you love and enjoy, because if you take away all the things that you love and enjoy for the sake of the other person, then I think it's gonna like feel like, man, like you said, I've lost who I am. So it's not even just so much because it's like I want this person to still like me for who I am because that's what they loved about me, but because that's what you enjoy doing. That's what you enjoy, like, you know, where you get your peace or whatever the case is, you know what I mean? And so I would say like in the beginning when you'd watch a game. Probably a lot of it because we could only afford one TV.
Yeah.
So that's going to kind of force you to have that, like, okay, you want to watch a game? Okay, I'll watch the game with you. But I feel like, honestly, in that, it was like some compromise in that area. But like, as we've gotten older and gotten more TVs, now when you and the boys like want to watch our game, I'm like, first of all, I love that for him. He has his homies watching games and stuff and talking sports stuff because you used to do it with me. And I used to be like, bro, I do not know what you're talking about, okay? But I'm going to act like I do because I care. But now I can be like, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and leave and let y'all have it while I go upstairs and, you know, give 'em a little popcorn or whatever I want to snack on and watch my shows.
Yeah. And I think that if you don't allow people to do that, then it's just what you said. They start losing some of themselves, and then they're like, and then they're not the same happy person that they were before.
Do you think it's possible for resentment to come in?
Yeah, 100%. People start being like, you know what? Why am I always giving in this relationship? You know, you're not.
Why
I don't get to watch games anymore.
Your voice kind of sound like a Chewbacca off of Star Wars.
So sad. And it's like, dude, stop. If you love, if you love playing basketball, then go play basketball. Yeah. Now, you can't play basketball every single night.
Yeah.
Because you're married.
But one thing I can appreciate is, okay, I'm not into sports, and you're not necessarily into the things that I am into, but yet if we want to talk to each other about it, we're going to seem like we're somewhat interested in, because like, oh, okay, we may not have any clue what the other person's talking about, but we're going to be like, you know what, I'm you know, like your friend. Oh, I got you. What we talking about? Oh,
yeah,
okay,
it's
cool.
like when you talk about hair. And I have to act like I know.
But when I see your eyes kind of glaze over, like, you know what? Never mind. You tried, and I appreciate it.
Cool. You got in a weave.
No. Oh, do that. No.
That's awesome.
No, you do not do that. You don't look like that. You actually.
Cool.
He's messing around. Whenever, if I do something different with my hair, because I do change it up a lot, you're like, oh, man, that's cool. Or you'll be like, oh, what are we doing today? Or my favorite question is, how long is this one going to take?
Yeah.
How long is this one going to last?
It's always a project. It's like,
it's
hey, I'm going to start on my hair.
It's a project for me that I enjoy. That's
I know, but it's like,
I'm
going to start on my hair, and it's like 10 hours later. So I'm just like, cool.
But you don't complain when it's done.
No. I mean, it's cool, but it's like, it's just what you said. You gotta compromise. You gotta be willing to be patient, you know, compromise with your spouse or whoever it is, and just enjoy being around them.
Yeah.
I think that's the thing is, if you stop enjoying being around a person, or you take life too seriously.
Yeah.
Because you can't take life that seriously.
And if you don't communicate like expectations, I think you're setting up the person to fail.
Yeah, because it's like, oh, well, I thought we were going to watch Chicago Med every single night of the week. And it's like, no, I don't want to watch that.
But that's real. I mean, those that know, like, once y'all find a show together, it's like if that person watches that episode without the other person, it's like, what have you done?
Yeah, and just to be clear, I don't care about Chicago Med.
You don't, but there is sometimes you come in and you be like, what's going on? What are
because
and I gotta pause and I'm like, bro, are you
I'm
interested?
trying to be engaging. I'm trying to be like, oh, that doctor is upset. That's so crazy.
But you have to understand, I have a very strong dislike if I'm watching a movie or a TV show and somebody starts talking. Like, that irks me so bad. Like, be quiet. I think that's why I don't like football. Like, stop talking. I don't want to hear you talk. I can see what's happening on the field, okay? So it's like if I'm watching my show, especially if it's like, ooh, I've been looking forward to watching, and then you randomly come upstairs and be like, what's going on? Who's that? And so then I missed what the person just said. Now I got to pause and rewind and catch you up.
Yeah.
For a show you're not even interested in. What we doing?
But sometimes, I mean, you never know. You're like, oh, that is interesting. Oh, they had a long-lost brother.
And you ain't going to think about him.
No. I typically just get on my phone after that. Because I'm like, all right, this show sucks.
Whatever. It's my show. I enjoy it.
But you have to be willing to do that. You got to be willing to compromise. You got to be patient. You got to you got to communicate.
Have fun. Keep doing the things that, you know, that you did before you got married, maintaining that, being consistent in that, choosing your battles, what is really worth getting upset over and bringing to the other person to communicate over, and what's not. Like, okay, is this really that big of a deal? No. Gracing them, okay, if they're working through it and they're trying to change something, give them the grace and the space to allow that to happen, and asking them, how can I be of, assistance and help? Like all those things, in the follow through, and, throw a little spontaneity in there, So
Yeah. Well, happy anniversary.
happy anniversary, my love.
19
19 years.
Almost out of our teens. We'll be
Yeah.
adults in no time. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Love Encompassed podcast. Where can they follow us at?
They can follow us on YouTube. If you're currently watching, thank you so much. And go ahead and hit that subscription button as well as that notification button so that you don't miss our episodes. And if you're listening on Apple and Spotify, thank you so much. Make sure you share this episode if you enjoyed it, or any other episodes in the past that you've enjoyed. We really are super excited that we were able to go down a little bit of memory lane and just kind of think about the pros that we've experienced of being together for as long as we have. And we hope that it was a great takeaway. You could also follow us on Instagram at Love Encompassed Podcast. My lovely hubby at Phil Clemens, myself at Victoria Clemens. And we are on TikTok, Victoria, I am Victoria Clemens. What's yours, boo?
Phil Clemens.
Okay, you keep it simple.
Same name. Same name for 19 years.
Anyways, thank you guys. And until next time, we'll see you later.
See ya.